who you are and what is for you to curate, what is for you curating. So maybe we start from you.
Well, I'm the textile curator at the Identities Museum in Belgrade. And of course, I did with textile, with costumes. And to curate, yes, I agree that that is not something that is strictly defining the object and the relationship to the object, but actually making maybe some kind of relationship with, in broader context, you know, with present the object, the story of the object, the maybe the, I don't know, maybe the not preserving, but maybe more in that way presentation.
Okay, so for you is more a presentation. Okay, and for you?
Well, I'm a visual artist here. I think the only one here.
But you know that most of the, like not most, but many artists are curating also.
Yes, of course, I have that experience. So for me, curating is about communication between artist and the curator and building something together. So because I have experience, I'm a freelancer, but I have experience with curating some exhibitions, and also I'm selecting an art colony or art symposium probably every year. So for me, it's basically about communication and building something together. So.
Wow. Okay, I need to write down because if not, I will forget because you are many. So for you is about the communication, and for you was the relation with the object, right? Okay, and for you?
Hi, I'm Ivona. I'm an art historian, independent curator. Well, I see curating as something in between. So you are basically juggling between the artist and his ideas, the public, how to present it, how to verbalize it in your text, and how to present it in an exhibition to a public, but also it's to explain what is it that you see, how, what can it mean, and how does it fit into a broader picture, and give some other angles to think about. So for me, it's more like posing questions and thinking about how to influence the audience to pose more questions by themselves.
Okay, thank you. Your name is?
Ivona.
Ivona. Okay, and you?
I'm Jelena, and I'm art historian, creative all in history and theory of photography and contemporary art. I'm also curator and associated with the Faculty of Applied Arts in history of photography. For me, as Nina said, is yes, curating is communication between artist and curator, and between artist, curator, and public. But also curating is telling a story, different story. Wake up the public, communications between public and that art world. But mostly telling a story.
And for you?
For me?
Yeah.
I'm Michela. I'm from the Museum of Contemporary Art. I think that is for me curating is some kind of process to put different works in dialogue and make a new story, something new, something contemporary, to connect history of art and present. And I think that is very important for curating to put artworks in some kind of social context.
Okay, thank you. Interesting. And for you?
I'm Vienna. I'm a designer at the Museum of Contemporary Art, and the way I see curating is well to present the work, but maybe more importantly to try to provoke some other views on the works that are represented and to provoke questions in audience and maybe try to correlate different topics, but also, as Michelle mentioned, to try to connect it with present and other social topics that are shaping our reality.
Okay.
Una Popovic, Museum of Contemporary Art. Curating for me is all that we actually made here till now. So it's a big learning process on communication and much more the link all of the instruction and disciplines. I like this kind of interdisciplinarity in the process. For example, something doing with literature, anthropology, sociology, visual art, and this is only the thing that we do maybe with this, how to say, kind of the social topics, but on the other side, it's also very process dealing with the marketing, with the public, with the budget, and all this kind of the technological side. So it's also this complexity of all the different maybe inputs in the human science, but dealing with also different strategy how to impose and base the facts in the publicity. So for me, it's more educational and linking process between the different kinds of disciplinarity. I like to do this kind of thing and to present to the public as some kind of new space on the maybe new reality that we face in the parts of the present and the past.
Wow, interesting. And the last, the two, yeah.
I'm Dragan. I'm two names. I'm a teacher of English and literature, and I'm not a curator here on the wall. But I like to deal with photography and also to connect photography, literature, music. So when I think about curator's job, that would be for me somebody who stands in between arts, in between artists and public, and who tries to tell the story and to connect all this, and to provoke as many questions as possible.
Okay. Okay. You in the corner?
Hi, my name is Latha. I'm an art historian and I work as a producer at the Museum of Contemporary Art. So I believe.
Producer, wow.
Yes.
So you are working exhibition producer.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. For me, curating is a way of articulating some idea, and I believe, as all of my colleagues from the Museum of Contemporary Art, we are mostly dealing with social issues. So for me, that is the most important thing about curating, to recontextualize an idea and trying to connect it with some current issues, topics, and transform it from artist to the curator to the
Wow, interesting. Very interesting because it comes from you that you are a producer and you say that
yes.
is a thread for
Yes,
connecting.
yes.
Wow, thank you. You?
Hello, I'm Alina.
Yeah.
I'm an artist and I also organize some group exhibitions in Belgrade and some other places. So for me, curating is showing are doing now.
Okay.
Showing
Showing.
what contemporary my colleagues and I are making at our studios and what we are thinking about, and then making a show.
Okay, so you in the last table, you start from. Okay, you. Yeah.
Yeah, hello, my name is Zoran Lević. I'm a curator, conservator, and director of Museum of Science and Technology. For me, curating is making connections between public and the exhibition, and making people see that in my case, everything is science and everything is connected.
Okay. You mentioned the public, which is interesting. Yeah. You?
Hi, I'm Darko, historian from the Museum of Yugoslavia. For me, curating is exploring all the meanings of some objects, context of its producing and its way to the museum and to the exhibition, and with a multidisciplinary approach and the best way to present it to the public.
Best. Okay. And you?
Hello, my name is Milena. I'm from Museum of Yugoslavia. I'm also curator of many collections, and most of them is a history collection. But also we have object of art, applied art, and curating is some kind of connection between public and objects, and also in my opinion, it's creating is some kind of link between public and objects and points.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, the public is coming out now. And you?
I'm Jelena. I'm from the Museum of Applied Art in Belgrade. I'm senior curator, and I'm working in the Department for Contemporary Applied Art, and I'm working with contemporary artists and also with the museum objects. And for me, curating is something making good communication and telling stories. And it's about stands between public, museum objects, and artists.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Jelena, also from the Museum of Applied Art, and also curator. Like my colleague said, I think most of the same as Jelena said. So curating is for me making connections between artworks from the past, for me, because I deal mostly with the 19th century artworks, and making connection between artworks and the public, so explaining the artworks from the past to the nowadays public.
Okay, thank you.
I'm Slobodan, also from the Museum of Applied Art, with my colleagues Jelena and Jelena. It's interesting in our museum, like basically all museums in Serbia, we have collections, we have exhibitions, we have work with public, and curating is everything about it. And something like organizing and something like movie directing, perhaps, and disseminating ideas, and of course, studying the ideas of previous art historians, theoreticians, regarding the subject we are trying to show, or the artist we are, whose work we are showing. So everything about it.
Okay, we are running out of time, so we go quickly. I want to hear everybody.
Again, Jelena from the National Library of Serbia, from the Cultural Programs Department. So our approach is usually we have a given topic for an exhibition, a person, an event, a type of publication. So we look at our holdings and we try to select those items that can tell a story, that can present to the public something that is lesser known information, lesser known aspect of a certain cultural period, or perhaps a historical period or historical movement. So it is usually trying to establish a link between an element of our holdings and the broader public.
Okay. You?
I'm Diana. I'm not a historian at the Art Endowment. My current job is focused more on coordination than actual curating, but when I think of the term, I see it as a way of a form of mediation, but also something that can be perceived as a creative process that offers one of the many possible ways of approaching a certain topic in order to understand its essence that always open space for new perspectives. And
Sorry?
I see it as one of the many possible ways
Okay.
in which we can approach something.
Okay, thank you. You?
Hello, I'm Miriam. I work in the Museum of Yugoslavia for, let's say, mediating and trying to find out how the topics and the collections and the topics we are dealing with are of interest of the audiences today. What questions they arise that are important for us today. Yes.
Okay, thank you. And you? Sorry.
I'm Ljubica, Museum of Yugoslavia. I wanted to say pretty much the same as Mira did. Basically mediating between the abundance of materials and the attention span of today, and then the past and the present issues of society, and mediating between all the different parties involved in creating an exhibition.
Okay, thank you so much.
My name is Naja. I'm just a student from the academy. Maybe like conveying the right message and also keeping certain topics and social issues relevant.
Okay. You.
I'm Mileta Pavlic. I'm an artist, and I think that the curator or curating is a kind of bridge between three realities, between artistic reality, between public, and between institutions. And I think, yeah, that's...
Okay, thank you.
My name is Vesna. I'm from Museum of Serbian Orthodox Church, but I'm new in the museum, and I previously worked in the archive of Serbs in Croatia. So I'm more in that healer meaning of. I'm not a curator.
Yeah, it's a more like we
Yes,
say.
I'm more actually in saving documents from destruction, for neglecting, from and raising consciousness in of importance of
Coming from the past.
Yes, coming from the past, especially in the church where it's very problematic.
But to preserve it, something that is an essential part of the curating, job, I would say.
Healer in all sense.
Yeah, thank you.
My name is Luka Kulic. I work at the Gallery of Matica Srpska in Novi Sad. I'm operating as an art director. And for me, curating would be connecting, like people, objects, stories, backgrounds, and interpreting it through to telling stories.
Okay, thank you. And you, the last one,
Yes.
last but not least.
Yeah, my name is Jelena Mjanić. I'm also working at the Gallery of Matica Srpska as a curator, and I can say everything that everybody already said, but I can add that for me, it's also as a curator working in a way that when you put two pieces of art together, that you find a new idea out of it, that you didn't see it when you see only one. So making few works of art together that make a totally new story
coming
from the juxtaposition of the works. So not the only one that tells a story, but when you connect them, it's totally new way of a new perspective. What colleague said, there is always something new to add.
Yeah, you're right. So, we've seen everything as you was telling. Curating is selection, is also responsibility, mediation, positioning, and authorship. But the authorship is not and is never sovereignty, because it's imposing like a thought. So it's always, and it's nice that you were telling, is a dialogue, is questioning yourself and the public. So is very is not. So now more than ever, it's not about asserting and telling what is the concept of the exhibition, but it's something that is more related to open question to the public. So I would like to read these quotes from many curators. One of the most important curators that you probably know already is Harald Zeman. So the director of, he died, I would say he's like the saint of the patron of curators, I would say, Harald Zeman. He did, probably you know already Harald Zeman. Yeah, so he curated this important exhibition in 1969 when Attitude Becomes Form, and he decided in 1969 to become a freelance curator. So Harald Zeman said, for me, being a contemporary means working with others, not merely collaborating, but truly going together. I believe that throughout these 40 years of work and the exhibition, I've always thought this: the independent curators put ourselves back on the line at the end of every exhibition, and each time we must use all the power we have to preserve our independence. So it's very interesting that for him, one of the most important thing is the independence. So I go through all this very quickly. So Jessica Morgan is telling us, Jessica Morgan, probably you don't know her, or is, is of DIA in Foundation in New York. So is the director, the artistic director. And she is telling us curating is about creating the condition for a meaningful encounter between the viewer and the work. Today, the curator's role is shifting ever more toward that is of an educator. So she's speaking about educator. So most of you or many of you was speaking about communication, was speaking about public, but so the public needs to have a large importance in the exhibition. And how? With a public program. And so the public program is one of the most important part of the exhibition. When you open the exhibition, it's not that the exhibition is open. It needs to live from the opening till on. When it's ended, the exhibition will survive with the catalog. And with there is a legacy of the exhibitions. So I will go with Ansuri Kobris. Probably you know everybody is the director of the Serpentine in London. Is Swiss. He did the most interesting exhibition probably in 1980 something in where in his kitchen. So the very first exhibition he did it in his kitchen with the fridge, inviting a couple, two artists that were Fischli and Weiss. And other artists that he was that he was inviting, like Alighiero Boetti, for example. And for him, in my practice, the curator must build bridges. Who was speaking about bridges? Many of you. Bridges between artists, public institution, and different kind of communities. The crucial point of this work is to construct temporary communities. So the constructing, so it's very interesting what he says, because we will after do a workshop on building temporary communities, connecting diverse people and practices, and creating the condition for spark to emerge between them. So, and then I go through Achille Bonitoliva. Probably you don't know him, or you know. Yes, of course, you know. Okay, he's an Italian old man, but an old curator. He's quite, sorry? Ah, okay, yes, very, very popular. And I would say he's the one that is imposing his vision rather than opening dialogues. But he did a very interesting thing throughout all his career. Is about probably is the exhibition writing, because most of the curator thinks that there is an architect who helps you to put the artworks around the space, but there is this important things that you should follow, that is the concept, of course, but it is through the concept you have an exhibition writing that is not, putting one work after the others, but is a red thread who links the works, and then when you see it in the space, they works. So he says the curator fulfills a public function by activating a form of exhibitionary writing. The show is not simply the use of space, but articulation of articular project and the thematic vision. For the spectator, it entails traversing a space and encountering works that take the place of the words of an essay. It becomes an instrument of knowledge and not of astonishment. So somehow he's opening this, and it's very interesting what he says. And Nick Serota, it was I pass to Nick Serota. He was the president and the director of the Tate. Not only Tate Modern, but all the Tates. And for him, of course, is curating is 20% flair and imagination, and 80% administration, collaboration, management. So as you can see, of course, there is also this part, which is very, very important, because if we don't have budget, which is the most important and difficult thing nowadays, because in Italy we have a very big problem, but I believe also in here, everywhere in the world now, it's the constraint of budget. Thelma Golden, probably you don't know her. She is the director of Studio Museum in Harlem. She conceived actually this museum from the very beginning, and is a very interesting project she did. So this project is conceived as a studio, open studios for artists, of course, but also, for public. So public goes in the space in this studio museum, see the artist working, but at the same time see the connection through the artworks that are exhibited in between. So it's very interesting. And then an exhibition for her is in many ways a series of conversation between artist and viewer. So curator and viewer, and among the artworks themselves. It truly clicks. And it really is important for me when the show feels as though it has answered some question while raising many more. You were talking about raising questions, and this is one of the key points of curator. Caroline Christophe Bakarji, if you know already, she was the director of Documenta in Kassel. She's half Italian, half Bulgarian, and half American. So half, no, three quarter, sorry. And the curator becomes a companion along the way. Exhibition emerge from dialogue with artists, among the artists themselves, even across the different generation. I'm not interested in exhibition as statements, so what we were talking about earlier, but as space of research and thinking. Then here you see, okay, because if not, I cannot. Okay. And if not, I won't. I cannot read it because, okay, I go like this. Art has the power to confront dominant narratives and to create space where suppressed voice can be heard. So Andrea Lissoni is the last one. When you prepare an exhibition with an artist, you always have to negotiate and find solution. It's not about imposing, it's about understanding what the work needs. As for the dynamics that arise between curator and audience, are under discussion and undergoing reconfiguration in favor of skill more decisively oriented toward production or intensive work within communities must necessarily be reoriented. And for those who work as curators in the broader sense, beyond the traditional role of exhibition maker, dialogue with the public is fundamental. So for me, I would say that curating is a social practice because social is the topic, social is the public. Social is also the public institution itself. So for me, curating is really a social practice. And why is not? Sorry, I need to. Okay. Okay, so we've talked about this, but how, so you've seen probably some of you the exhibition of Identities Beyond Borders. So this was and is quite a strange exhibition because this exhibition is an exhibition that goes from one country to the other, and came already from the collection of the Farnesina Collection, so of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So this was the context. The 25th anniversary of the Farnesina, the institutional framework was the Collezione Farnesina, and then this touring model. And so what I decided to do, since we had these three factors, but one of the most difficult, I would say, is how to bring this collection that usually is perceived as a collection of big, important, powerful masterpiece, like I would say, oh, what? Sorry, why is going? Powerful masterpiece. This is a vision of the Collezione Farnesina from the inside of the building. So you see Michelangelo Pistoletto, you see Pomodoro, you see many of important artists. But when they asked me to do this a touring exhibition, I was thinking that it was posing question, of course, but starting a dialogue between institution, so local institution, and diplomacy, which is another issue, and artists, of course. It's not about selecting the artworks, but is starting a new dialogue through the artwork with the artist. And so for each exhibition, exhibition I make, I pose my 6 questions: who, why, what, where, and when, and how. So I start from this sacred, I would say, 5W and 1H, which for me is like a mantra that I am taking from the beginning of this from the beginning of the exhibition till the end. So for this exhibition, for example, I was taking who is the project speaking to. So in this kind, I was replying to myself. So contemporary art audience for sure, diplomatic and institutional, as I was telling you, and then local community that needs to be hosted in each country. Artist, of course, so the other thing is who is in the exhibition, the artist. So the voices of the artist, the identities of the artist needs to be, in dialogue. But then there is another who. So all the people and all that we encounter in this traveling exhibition. So the other important thing is why this concept is important. Identities Beyond Border for me was important because is raising geopolitical issues. We are talking about, I would say, ecology. We are talking about issues from the past. So, for example, feminism. Yesterday, we were talking about with this artist Silvia Giambrone about what is the domestic field, and what is the domestic field and how the domestic field is conditioning ourselves, and also in a political field. So it's quite interesting because this identity is not that is one identity. So the thing is that I didn't want to bring Italian artists. I want to bring the dialogues of issues that are from Serbia, from Vilnius, from Lithuania, from everywhere. It's not that the identity is Italian identity. So this was one of the most important key points, and this is why. What problem, theme, and tension runs to their works? So human and natures, as I was telling, belonging and displacement, stability and mobility, representation and transformation. And where? This is the other question, where the starting point, because they asked me, choose 3 Italian institute and 3 countries. So I chose Germany, so Berlin, and then Malta, and then Vilnius. And do you know why? For example, tell me. Why these 3 countries? Vilnius, I mean Lithuania. Why for you? Because Germany represents Central Europe, and is related to our history of, for example, the Second World War. So there is this shift in the past. So the Berlin Wall and everything. So Malta represents migration, is an island, represent the Mediterranean vision, and Vilnius and Lithuania represents the eastern part of Europe. So the Russian dominance, and so it was. It is these 3 vision, and then of course this vision expanded because it's going. Oops, sorry. Why? I don't know why it's not working, but I am going. So you see, these are the 3 first steps of the exhibition, and then the new venues joined the exhibition tour, Belgrade and Paris, and then will be continued in other places. But how to continue this exhibition in other place rather than the 3 first that I was thinking to bring it. So for me, it was important that to know, and each time is important to know the place, to be in touch with local institution and local artists and local dialogue. And so this is how I'm dealing with. Thanks to the Dots Gallery, I've been in touch with many of you, many of local artists, and yes, so is a way of constructing dialogues. The last 2 questions, so where we did it, when and how. When so is the exhibition, when you do an exhibition, you usually, as you know, you usually choose a famous or recurrence or important recurrence or something that is important, like a celebration or something. In this case, the question is not merely chronological, so when to do the exhibition, but is more related to the question that it occurs, this exhibition, not in a neutral time, but it responds to a condition of acceleration and fracture. So each time is merging other questions from social and political issues that are really important. So I think that this when is really related to where it is exhibited, this exhibition. So, for example, you see in this exhibition in Dots Gallery, this wall of Elena Bellantoni. We want bread, but we want roses too. That is has also the color of the flag, Serbian flag, which are reversed. That there is not the right order, but and that specific artwork is raising other question, because it's taken from a feminist choir in the 20s. So we want bread, but we want roses too. Is about labors, and so we want roses. Not we don't just need bread. And so yes, this is also why the answer of when and how is related to this exhibition is conceived as I put it beside as a hive, because it's a moving structure. The hive is not there. You see the holes, but it's changing, and the hive is a community. And so it's interesting that each time it encounters new communities, and each time I'm inviting artists to be in touch with the space, but not only with the white cube, but with the space in terms of the country where is exhibit. So this is why it's not okay. Sorry, it's always going on the others. So I go through quickly all this. So here he was in Berlin, and you see this is Tommaso Binga, and each time I am selecting new poems of Tommaso Binga. You know who is Tommaso Binga? No. Okay. Tommaso Binga is a 95 years old woman, is an artist, and she's really amazing. She's still claiming her poems. She started in the 70s, changing her name. Her name is Bianca, so female name, and turning into a male name, Tommaso Binga. Why? Because in Italian, I don't know if you have it in Serbian, but in Italian we have all these names that not names, but this language that has the dissonance, masculine dissonance or feminine dissonance, and so on. So she said that the most powerful tool I can use is language. And so she decided to change in 1976 to change her name in Tommaso Binga. And with a simple action, I will take 2 minutes to explain you, and then we proceed. With this simple action, so she was inviting everyone to her marriage. So everybody was thinking to go to this celebration of the marriage of Tommaso Binga with Bianca Menna, her real name. And they went into this white cube, I would say. And there, inside this white cube, there were only 2 photos. One, her with the bride dress, and the other in the groom dress. So always her. But at the same time, beside the bride, there was the car. And in Italian, car is macchina. And beside the groom dress, yes, the groom suits, I would say, sorry, there is the typing machine that in Italian is macchina da scrivere. So she's using this, she has on her side these 2 tools, the macchina da scrivere, so the typing machine, and the macchina, so 2 men's tool, because that time, can you imagine, 1976. So it was the only tool. And so she was subverting this. And so she was starting to create, and she started that time to create poems. And these poems, this, for example, in 1978, Natura Morta, and the one that is exhibited in Dot galleries, you can hear, if you go to Dot's gallery, also her voice, because we recorded in purpose, and she did it just before the exhibition, so at 95 years old. So yes, I mean, we were speaking about the language and how the language, and this is a way of communication. So it's very, very, very important. So here in Vilnius, this is another poem we selected in Vilnius of, this is Silvia Giambrone. She did a performance in Vilnius. We projected on the facade in Vilnius. So you see how these, for example, are like not in every exhibition, is changing in each. This was on the facade in the Vilnius Italian Cultural Institute. And here in Dots, so many of you already went here, and this is the Bianca, so the Tommaso Binga poems. Tommaso Binga poems here in the Dot Gallery is Mi chiamo Guerra. My name, I call myself War, which is meaningful. If you read, there is a translation. I cannot remember by heart, but yes, it's quite interesting. So we were talking about transdisciplinarity. So now we are skipping on another topics, the collective curatorial strategy and transdisciplinarity, which is quite the key points of curating nowadays. The transdisciplinarity between not only between different medium, but between different disciplines. So sport, for example, did you ever worked with a sport group?
But the artist who's dealing with sport and different kind of the topic dealing with sport. So it's also creativity in the sport.
And did you, thank you, and did you ever think to involve sport association?
Maybe, but we didn't get
Because it's quite important, because one of the most important issues nowadays is the audience development. Of course, many of you are curators, directors, so you've been hearing about audience development. So what is audience development for you? Like, I don't want to hear one by one, but who wants to reply? Who, for you, for example?
We are dealing a lot, we are mostly here from the institutions. So lots of institutions have the public program and audience development, educational programs. So we deal with the participation, interaction, senior program, younger program. Actually, lots of things. Dealing with the different, it comes from the topic or theme of the exhibition, for example, and then we apply maybe much more going by the participation, community, and interaction maybe with these disabled people. Lots of that. But also we have the senior program, the younger program.
So, but it comes from a department or is structural?
It comes, so this is maybe a story about the departments in institution. We have less and less the educational department as itself, but lots of the curators, and we have, how to say, the sound of the people in the institution that are dealing with education. It comes from the departments and the curators itself, because curator must think
about the marketing and the management, as we said and see here. So it also develops and in case we talked about the publicity. So we all think about how our topic can be deal with the outcome.
Okay, so it comes from a department. And what do you think if, because one of the, so I step backwards to see, this is from EU barometers in 2024. And we see that museum has only the 8%, 8.7% of replies what culture means to you. 8 is very low. Between of course is films and documentaries 90%, but even performance of visual art has a higher percentage, that is 11.7%. So it's quite the audience, I would say that culture doesn't think that comes from the museum and from the exhibition, which is weird. And so we need, which is weird because, I mean, a museum fight every day to, I come from a public institution. I was 2015, then I decided, and I will tell you why I decided to go away from public institution. Because I think that a project needs to deal really with audience, but not from a department, not from the curator, not from the educational department, because it's not about, and I will give you here, it's not about putting on top, so adding public. Audience development is not about adding something, so adding a percentage, but is dealing with people from the really starting point. So, for example, so the workshop today will be to try to make a project of audience development. So that can be, for example, a curatorial project, but from the very starting point, involving the community from the very starting point. So, for example, make, I would say, like a launch of raising a question to your public when they come to the museum. What is the topic you want to see? And so maybe you work with these people, you start working with these people. Not, of course, you cannot involve them as curator, but they can give you interesting points of view. So making like, for example, like a public intervention, like a public talk, a public conversation. So this is important. So for the strategy would be from what is the attendance targets, that to embed publics in the research phase. So this is number one. So when you go from marketing driven growth, your colleague was telling that is part of marketing somehow and so on, we should go to institutional relevance. building temporary communities. So starting from the bottom, the research phase, you start working with temporary communities. So for example, of course, for example, sports. What are the needs? We are exhibiting, we're doing this exhibition about sports. We involve sports association, the federation, the national federation, or something like this, from the starting point or from the middle level, because this is part of the project itself, and then it will be interesting for them to bring the public to the institution and to the museum. It's not that if you put the click on sports, then, oh, it's interesting, there is a sport exhibition. It's not about that. It's about building communities. And so if you build like a link with the sports federation, with the association, with also the players, and generate short-term campaigns. So the duration, you go from the short-term campaigns, you need to turn in a long-term institutional relationship. So building, for example, with sports federation, a long-term institutional relationship, which is important. We do an exhibition with science. We start building a long-term relationship with university, with other institutions. Event-based engagement, of course, is important, as your colleague was telling, because it's related to the public program. But then we need to expand beyond the traditional art audience, engaging communities, communities integration, transforming spectators in stakeholders. And how? There is an interesting project in Palazzo Grassi, Pinot Foundation, in Venice. And they started with the school. Of course, it's started as from the educational department, but it started in a different way. It's called, they were raising question, what is the community that we are missing? And the answer was teenagers. Teenagers never goes to exhibition, hates exhibition, doesn't trust in cultures, and so on. They come later probably, and so on. So teenagers are always on their mobile phone or on computer, playing at the PlayStation or everything, and so on. So this is missing. So they started from the school, bring into the museum, and try to make a guide, like educational guide, an application with the museum educational department that could be interesting for their colleague and for the others also. So it's quite interesting. This is called, probably peer education. And this is very important. This is a way, this is a methodology also of audience development. But audience development could be a curatorial strategy, as I was telling you before. So audience development is not a communication layer, needs to be embedded in a curatorial method and must be inserted in the project at the concept stage. Who is involved in the production? Meaning, so we have you ever co-created project, co-curated project, not with other curators, but co-created with communities?
Yes, we did.
Okay, so please.
Yes, we made 2 exhibitions. One was with the teenagers. It was called the youth, the young people choose. And then we together with the people from high school, we call it like a museology for beginners. So we did the whole process of curating with them. So they learned how people work in the museum, and then they made an exhibition out themselves. We were just being there as a help to them. So we co-created together the exhibition that they, from our collection that they chose. And then afterwards we made a similar exhibition with the citizens of Novi Sad.
Which is really, and it was funded by
the city of Novi Sad.
The city of Novi Sad. Okay.
And so the citizens, we invited citizens, they were 21, different age, different perspectives, everything they chose. They were going in our storage rooms, we were talking to them, and they were selecting works of art that they wanted. And then we made an exhibition integrated in our permanent exhibition, their selection of works of art.
Wow, yes, this is very important, and this can be an example of audience development as a curatorial strategy, and should be really integrated in the museum, because curatorial infrastructures is really becomes strategic when it starts from the concept stage. So I would suggest, for example, since you never applied to U program?
Yes, we did. With the youth program.
Youth Erasmus.
We had 2 Erasmus and 1 Creative Europe project.
Okay. Large scale or
small scale?
Small scale. Okay, and it is still going?
Well, yes, the project was finished a few years ago, but we methodology we use permanently.
Okay, so yes, and this will be very important for this workshop because the audience development, we go from the exhibition space to a European platform, from local audience to transnational public, and to single authorship to a collective process. And from event-based programming to a long-term networks. So this is very important, and this we can start the workshop. How can collective strategy and audience development become part of the museum mission and not an add-on? So we should, you should select the core topic. What would be the core topic? The core topic is not only the collection, needs to be like something related to contemporary issues that are merging nowadays, that needs to build as a collective structure. And maybe you should point out the strategy, how you want to build the strategy for an audience development curatorial strategy. So I go to that. So you keep in mind to reply to all these questions. So the core topic, the conceptual artistic research focus, the central question, and the social urgency. And then you go to the collective structure. So who co-designed the project? Artists, scientists, urban planners, community leaders, youth collectives, and policymakers. Who holds the final responsibility? So you need just to point out. And the strategy. Could this pilot be scaled through the EU partnership? So this small project could be scaled on a more broader levels to a EU partnership. Who and what will be the starting point? Creating one co-curated plastic lab, for example, or pilot a collective advisory group. So these are the points you should keep in mind. You have post-it pens, like paper, of course, and maybe there is interesting if you choose also not only the topic but the name of the project, this curatorial audience development project, as I was telling, as a collective practice. Okay, if you have questions in the meanwhile, I'm here. You have 40 minutes.
Yes. Interior. Yes.
You already done. 2 more minutes. You?
Also,
Okay. Finished. Okay. You just start giving. Maybe we don't have a board where you can, but you can show you the paper. Or and then maybe you can come here.
So actually, I don't know if it's finished.
Come here like this from a house. They from the home they can hear it.
Yeah, we of course not finished. This is just the initial idea, but we actually, our topic is the heritage of the New Belgrade, social modernist. So it's very good because New Belgrade is actually a metaphor for the whole Yugoslavia in one way. And we started from our Museum of Contemporary Art, which is, as you know, built in the 65. And we approached to the different kind of the buildings as SIV, a Museum of the Revolution, which is not never built, but it has the concrete, yeah. We have the Hotel Yugoslavia. No, but this is also the topic. Yeah. So actually, we start from the heritage and how actually heritage is dealt today. So actually, we want to include the thinking about the topic of the heritage and the capital that is much more inherited in the New Belgrade, as we think of the Hotel of Yugoslavia and now the aquarium and all the different things that they want implemented into this Friendship Park, which is actually starts from the Museum of Contemporary Art. So this is the story about the history, about the sociology, architecture, and urban planner. We want to include all of this stuff and the student city also, starting from the student city, studentski grad, koji je tamo na Novom Beogradu. So student city and the FDU, Faculty of the Dramatics. So actually curators from the Museum of Contemporary Art will do the, kako se zove? Workshop with the architectures, urban planners, and social planners, and with the students. So this is one topic. The students will we will implement this, how to say, the history of knowledge through the history of Belgrade, and then the students with the students of the dramatic art can put kind of in the film something what is happening now in Belgrade and how actually the heritage in Belgrade should be preserved in one way. So because the history of New Belgrade is the political sphere. And also this is the one point dealing with the students from the start. And the other point is dealing with the municipality of the New Belgrade, which is also the senior and some younger people that are also will be put, how to say, from the Museum of Contemporary Art and the visual heritage that we have. And in that, this is the other step when we work with the New Belgrade and how to say, this senior maybe people. So this is the how to say,
the structure. But when so the public, so the students, I would say, they are involved from the beginning, because you were talking about the workshop.
From the beginning, but from the beginning we are
when?
From the beginning. But it's starting from us as the, how to say, curator, sociology thinkers, architecture thinker, urban planner thinker, dealing with them, because we must implement our education also. This is the story that participation of the public can be sometimes put it as a, how to say, too much relevant. You must have conclude, how to say, you must implement some knowledge to them, and they will participate and implement maybe some kind of the new knowledge of today's practice. So it's not that students tell us what we should do, but we are together doing the first implementation of education, what we know about the Belgrade, about the architecture, about all the urban and architecture planning, and the students with us, we doing kind of the workshop with the film maybe, and this kind of the layers of the New Belgrade, and now the capital city of the New Belgrade with this all the different kind of the protests that is happening there. So how actually Serbia and all the, I think, Europe is dealing with this erasure of the heritage and erasure of the history.
So, yeah, understood. But the question is, don't you think that this is always a method, is still a methodology that is already there in your museum? It's not something that you are co-creating. Oops, sorry.
We are creating a transdisciplinary methodology here, dealing with all different kind of the...
Okay. So you want to involve the public as a transdisciplinary methodology, so involving other types of sociologists, urban planner, and so on. And in this case,
we are all working together.
Yeah.
To put maybe in kind of the movie or the book something that can be produced in the heritage that we all must preserve in one way.
So the students will be involved from the beginning, but only in the workshop part.
In the workshop and talking with us, because they have also different approach to the, the different approach of how actually they see the New Belgrade. What do they know about the Belgrade? I think that most and many of them never across to the Museum of Contemporary Art. So this is also good thing that we also start from the history of presenting all the different kind of the architectural heritage that we have in the New Belgrade, which is huge.
Which is really
but
important.
It's important that students also have different kind of digital skills today.
Yes.
So actually they will make some movies, maybe some talk, maybe some I don't know, VR projects, maybe some kind of the different kind of marketing projects that can be put in this part.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Can I just add? I feel like it goes both ways, that we kind of not underestimate students, because I feel like the general public really got interested with those problems like demolishing of Hotel Yugoslavia. So maybe for us to see how much they actually know, and then exchange maybe to give them more knowledge over them, but also see how they view, what's their perspective, and maybe connecting the knowledge about heritage, but also how we deal with that heritage today. So connecting those two
I think it's
parts.
important point you got, because I mean, it's not that you, of course, probably students do not know all the history. So it's an important point to for them to get to know what is the history, but then they give the feedback, and then from that feedback you built another New Belgrade, and this is the project. So in this case, yes, is starting from the bottom, so the interdisciplinarity that is very important, and then involving the students, and then getting back to the students.
Again, back to all the community of
And
the
all
new
the
Belgrade.
community.
It's important not only the students, but all the community. But
this is the last part.
Yeah, and then you have maybe, third part can be how to be like presenting of the heritage in some kind of tourism.
I have one question.
Picture.
How this project could expand the borders of Belgrade?
It can be expanded in the project of the whole Yugoslavia as New Zagreb, for example, and the whole ex-Yugoslavia, but also the heritage of the East and West and the Central Europe. So it is actually the heritage of everything that deals with the socialism. So it can be in the part of the East and the West Europe.
Okay. This needs to be, if you think to a project like this, which is very
complex.
Sorry?
Complex, but this is we made for the 15 minutes,
Yes,
so it must be developed for 1 year, and the budget and everything. So
yes,
of course,
it's very complex. Things
this
also,
is just the starting point,
But it's very interesting. I mean, you have a good starting point because it's very like hot topic.
It's hot topic, very
really. So is the topic, the core topic, is very hot for here locally, and it's very important. But so the other thing and how you developed the methodology is very interesting. But you need also to when if you want to pursue.
We need the sponsors.
You can explore this, and you can explore this how to broaden the borders of this project. I mean, not to leave it only in Belgrade, which is, I mean, has a sense for me, maybe because I'm really interested in it, but maybe to someone in the west part of Europe or in
the west part
States.
is Europe. Also, you have the Bellerin who talks about himself about the west and east also.
But I think it's also a local problem, but it's just a fact of one global problem, which is how we revision history and delete heritage under
this
the power
revision,
of capital.
the revision
So
of
it's like a
history.
global
Yes.
problem.
Okay.
The construction of ideological topic or something, and deconstruction of it, and we can have Hotel Yugoslavia as a symbol.
Yeah.
Because everything started with Yugoslavia, and now it ends with the deconstruction, literally, of Hotel Yugoslavia. And this, shows us that the whole concept, the narrative, is dead. Actually, the previous narrative, we have a new narrative, which is based on the
capital, yeah.
The previous.
Okay, yeah. But I've seen the timing and we are running out of time, so I leave the floor to the other group.
Thank you.
I have to ask you like a very few minutes to explain very quickly, because if not, we won't get
Okay, so our core topic is very similar to theirs. Related, yeah. It's called Belgrade Identity or Our Identity. So conceptual artistic research focus would be the construction, physical, and destruction, conceptual, of Belgrade as a cultural, historical, and sentimental entity for all of us. So erasing of history and historical values, erasing of collective memory, and imposing a new one, money-driven values. Why any reaction is lacking? So this is our top question, or reactions are weak. Why people are interested but hibernated in a way. So we think the answer here, one of possible answers here, would be a lack of institutional functions or the institutions don't function at all. So we have to make something to make them act. Now, let's collective structure. So we envisaged kind of huge exhibition all over town, public places, artists, architects, urban planners, policymakers, but citizens as well, which means all of us. Citizens would come after the very beginning. At the beginning, there would be artists and architects
who are dealing
who are
with
dealing.
this subject of preserving memory and architecture and the whole city, living in the city and preserving the history of the city.
So we have here, just a moment. Oh yeah, the duration. Mm-hmm.
I would add artists would start this whole project, but we would invite people to contribute to the project in different ways, in questionnaires or archival materials like old photos of the city, old videos, or maybe something new and something that they would create, trying to reinvent and renew the history and to preserve the history of the city.
Yeah, I want to add something to your idea of archival material. Is very interesting because we started a project of the memory of a building in the suburbs of Rome, asking people to bring what they had from their own family archive. And this archive, it exploded. I mean, and it was amazing. So sorry.
Okay, so we have here archival of personal history, which means photos, videos, also storytelling, to be included into the exhibition settings. So basically, it's making personal history a part of public memory. Now, strategy. So we have exhibition, online and physical exhibition. Physical would be on the streets and public places, squares all over Belgrade. Yes, also in the galleries. But I think, in my personal opinion, people are scared of what they don't know. They don't want to act as, how do you say, ignorant. So when they see something they can't understand, like some contemporary art or something, they just go away. So we have to make them go straight into it. So put art into the street, in the middle of the street, in the middle of the square, where there are a lot of people. So it's not like a cube where you have to go in. So it's in public space and place, so they can see it and they will be more approachable.
To find a way to make them more sensible to not only contemporary art, but everything related to it. So, you know.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was it. The streets and public places. Then collaboration between artists and citizens. So we have artworks, performances, physical artworks, like painting, sculptures, installations, then performances. Then personal memories, we spoke about. Photos, videos of people, maybe some kind of questionnaire to ask people what they think, and workshops.
Okay.
And we have just one more thing, so examples to set as well, good and bad examples in the world and in Serbia. In world, good examples of preservation would be Dresden, the center of Dresden, rebuilt completely as it was after Second World War, then Warsaw.
Yeah.
Then my colleague said Matera in Italy.
I thought of Matera, yes,
because it's not rebuilt, but has a new shape.
Preserved, yes.
Preserved
and
a new shape, because it's not...
the whole idea is reshaped in the minds of the people.
Yeah.
So
now it's interesting. That time wasn't interesting at all.
So bad example would be Sicily, Palermo in 50s and 60s, mafia-driven money, which is happening here now. So we have the same thing. In Serbia, good examples would be fortresses, Golubac and Ram. They got money from EU and rebuilt the fortresses as they used to be. And, well, you will know, like Cerak Vinogradi or something during the 80s, which is a really nice place to live. And bad examples, we have a lot of them on the list, but just few. Zlatibor,
One more minute, sorry.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Belgrade waterfront, Generalstab military headquarters, which is now very in focus, aquarium in New Belgrade, and rebuilding basically the construction and the very bad building in historical Vračar. So the main point is that this cultural entity, it's called Cultural Monument Protection Institute, Zavod za zaštitu spomenika, is not functioning because we have protected buildings under protection, and then that protection is gone, and then the investor comes and makes something which is not part of the concept of the town. And the last one is EU projects. Can we do it? It's a very political question, basically. So if EU goes with this policy at the moment, then we can. If it doesn't, if it still supports the government, then it's not. And that was it. Thank you.
So we came from the common ground of the dealing with religious historical art. So we were discussing about how religious historical art, both in museums and in church objects, and are being sort of neglected, and there is a huge gap for the audience, for the public, for the general public, and for the society, sort of like a distance of the importance and the beauty and the context of this type of art. So we wanted to do something about that, to do how to reconnect it to society, to especially to younger audiences, how to connect it to contemporary times, how to recontextualize it in today's time, what it means to us as dealing primarily with our history and learning from our history also. So for the core topic, we wanted to deal with questions like the general questions would be how to communicate it with the audiences of today, and how to improve preservation of those of our cultural heritage. Yeah. So with dealing with issues regarding social urgency would be the fear of destruction of those objects, as some of the objects, especially from churches and monasteries, have been taken out as being old and maybe not the best shape, being replaced by new objects. Also, the question of social oblivions.
Yes, oblivions.
Regarding our history, identity, and the culture in general, and also devalorization of these types of artworks or entire cultural heritage.
Wow. And the collective structure, how do you want to build this project?
So the structure would be to develop the concept, to involving from the very start as several groups, as we discussed it, that the curators from our team would rather be facilitators than curators, so that the groups would be inviting and involving contemporary artists
to reflect on the religious historical art, but also to act as sort of a mediators for the two following
so the
groups.
artists will be the mediators or not?
Through their works.
Through their work.
Through the works, yeah.
Okay.
Through the works, yeah. But also would have two more groups, which would be very important to the whole process. One would be youth groups, both from high schools and maybe students. This would have to be, of course, developed in which types of groups and how they would communicate, as to take from them how they see the history and religious art. What can they find? What can they take out of it from learning about it and from communicating with it, and to involve also priests from the church groups, as they would also their viewpoints would be very important, but also to give them. To give back to the church as an institution, and the priests and the people directly involved within the institution of church, to give more education about the importance of preservation of religious cultural heritage. So, and that through this dialogue between the supposedly opposed groups, contemporary artists would be sort of mediators, how they can find key points to reflect and to connect, and we would rather be facilitators to organize the process and maybe to guide it, and look to also to learn from it again, and how we can create exhibition and some methodology and how to tackle those issues that are
are important.
that emerge from that.
This would be the strategy, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so for the strategy, it would have to be developed sort of locally as a pilot project,
Yes.
but it would be both I think important that we can offer sort of methodology to compare it to some other countries and different cultural backgrounds and the different structures of how religious social groups interact together with within those countries, and how we can compare and maybe learn from each other what are the relations between those. So yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
You? I will ask you like 20 minutes more, like 1:30, because if not, we don't have time to make the second part.
So like all together to put it in 20 minutes, all the presentations.
No, I will have, because for me, I have the second part that I have the publication. And so we end now with you and the other group in 5 minutes, and then I will do my part for the publication in 1 hour.
Okay, okay, so we have to be very, very quick, and I hope interesting enough. So we started from the our topic is beer, but not as just a drink, but as some kind of interconnection of society, culture, economy. So can you hear me? Huh? It's okay. So okay. Our like the central question would be how beer as a social phenomenon, to put it very, very shortly. But we did not define all we think that it's crucial to make it to co-create it with many stakeholders. So at the basis is, of course, the research, some kind of ethnographic research that would include workers that were part of the production of the and workers in local factories that existed through time. That when I say workers, that this means also experts, but also like regular workers. Of course, the researchers who did who have their expertise in industrial heritage preservation, online communities of collectors, etc. But also the important group are the activists who are now fighting for to preserve brewery like Weifert's place in Pančevo and other industrial heritage sites. So through these researches, we want to actually say try to follow the historical path, how the story began, and how in time the how do you say production relations changed. So we had private owned companies like Weifert, and we had nationalized companies like we knew in social Yugoslavia, and then we come to today's condition, which you all mentioned in your researches. So that's somehow how the path that we want to follow. And actually we want to make this exhibition together with these people, but actually to give floor to these activists the most, to tell a story about what is going on with these spaces today. So this is also the story about new investments, about neglecting of heritage, but also about the ecology, because we all know that the quality of this drink is also connected to the quality of the water we are drinking. So these are the key topics that we hope we will cover with this project in short, very short.
Very short, yeah. And it's interesting because beer is not only a local topic,
Yes.
but it could expand borders and could even become a European project. So, of course, you need to modulate.
Yes.
It's not that you only put beer.
Yeah. But it's definitely
like very interesting, because in every places in Europe you drink beer.
yes. But even if you speak about the economy of those places,
you speak about the economy, so it will raise question about workers, young, of course, activists, youngest that brings beers and so on. So it's thank you. Last but not last.
Yes, last.
Last but not least. Sorry.
Okay, our collective topic, because we came from 4 different museums, we were talking about the new permanent exhibitions in general. So the first thing that we had to state is, does the public know what's our museum? Yeah, because in each of our museums, we have a lack of public. Yeah, because I think, or we think that people don't know what's held in our museums. So the first, that's the identity of the museum institutions. Yeah. The second thing is for the curators to state what they think that must be on the permanent exhibitions, and to make a list for it to be posted on different medias, social medias, and the medias depend on the demographic people structure. Yeah, so for them to for the public to pick what items or exhibits they want to see on the permanent exhibition.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you want to open the museum to the public
Yeah.
To select your collection?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and okay, and when the decision is made what exhibits are going to be on the exhibition, then comes the professionals, educators, and the production at the end. But that's yeah, but that's not the end because then people vote what exhibits would be best for the presentation of the museum abroad, for the traveling exhibitions.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, and okay, yeah, and there's a catch too, because people can put on social media or platforms what they have in their possessions, and for the curators to pick an object that will be a part of the permanent exhibition. Yeah.
Okay, so from their
Yeah.
personal
Personal collection.
So, but it's not about contemporary art.
It can be.
It
Yeah,
can be.
yeah.
Okay, because like usually collectors are very not very keen in open their collection to the public.
Yeah, but we're talking about the museums, so it's public. Yeah.
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 Okay. Yeah. It was a question.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and
so you consider this?
yeah, and every item can be a museum exhibit. Yeah, so even the bottle can be so for the public to put on their personal object for curators to decide if it's going to be on the exhibition.
Yeah, the only thing is that the problem is that then if everything could be on exhibit, then there's need to be anyhow like a last selection.
Yeah,
From
curators they decide what's going to be on the exhibition permanent, not the public.
Okay.
Public is only the pool of ideas for for
so
one
the
item.
Curators,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, but
And we are choosing one object.
yeah from the public.
Yes.
Okay. And then, so the strategy it will be like
Involving everybody in the exhibition. Yeah, permanent or every other. So
okay.
yeah, because museums are for everybody.
But are you thinking to create an ephemeral museum online? Like, for example, it could be like a museum that is made only online. I mean, the collection, of course, is you can exhibit a selection, but
Yeah.
since you are involving many people,
Yeah.
you will find at the end that you have 1,000
Yeah,
of
maybe that's the
objects
next
or-
step. Yeah. Maybe that's the extension of this idea. So yeah.
It can be online.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So we ran out of time, and we are arrived to the last part of this morning that is related to one of my favorite
topic that are publication. Why I'm talking about publication, and for me that is really important, because as you know, all the exhibition are like are structured to be only on a certain period, and the publications are the last legacy of an exhibition, and is a tool for researcher, and will last after the exhibition. So how to build a catalog? The catalog actually is very important, because doesn't define only the thought and the concept of the exhibition, but defines also how museum thinks. Articulate, of course, the curatorial thesis, which is important, but can strengthen also the importance of the museum, inviting, for example, art critics, curators that are not part of the exhibitions to contribute to the exhibition itself. For example, since we are talking about Identities Beyond Borders, I've invited to contribute to this exhibition three art critics that, of course, are not diplomats, but are related to each topic that were involved in this, that are the core topics of this exhibition. So, for example, Roots of the Resistance, I invited Giuseppe Carrera, that is related to the feminist movement. Unstable Ecologies, I invited Cecilia Canziani, and Geographies of Detachment, I invited Cristiana Collu, which is a curator and art director of Querini Stampalia in Venice. So is, as you can see, is the intellectual capital of the museum and of the exhibition itself. But then how to expand the visibility of this exhibition and of this catalog beyond the border and the length of this exhibition. Distributing the catalog, so the publishing house is very important, but also the graphic identity is important, because if you see it on the bookshelves, is immediately recognizable, and you pick the book from maybe the color, maybe the graphic design, and so on. Because from the graphic design, you can understand a little bit the consistency of the catalog. So again, the catalog is rigorous copyright and image rights supervision, which is very important, because you then, if you don't follow the professional, the governments and the rights of the images, that do you know? But because the images rights belongs to the artist and to the photographer. Yes, and most of the time the image belongs to the artist and to the photographer, even if the photographer like take a special shots of that artwork when he was making the performance. But in that case, if the performer allowed to use the image, then you don't have to pay the copyright to the performance. But then you needed to find out even if the performer was paid, or it was you need to clear also the copyright of the performance. Then the last part of the which is important of the construction of the catalog is the impact of the catalog. Because of course is a diplomatic gift in international relation, is the legacy of the exhibition, and is even a fundraising tool, because it's a part of the promotion of what you are exhibiting. But you know what? How to build the catalog really in the structure itself. You know already, because the catalog. You need to think to the catalog that is made with this piece of paper, and this piece of paper can become a catalog when you fold it, because of course can be a poster, but in this case this is 1/16, which means it's here. You see here, there is, so each part is one page. So when you build the catalog, the pages then are all tied up, they're not cut. It's only when they are going to the printer that then it will be cut. So it's important to know how many signature you want to use in the catalog before doing and constructing the catalog, because it's where to put the text, where to put the image at the beginning or at the end, or through the through the catalog itself, because it's the structure and the organization is also conceptual, and you can occur, if you don't pay attention, in this kind of big mistake, because the signature allows you to choose different type of paper. Like, for example, in this catalog here. So this is the signature of 16 page, no, two sextodecimos, two signature, and then again white paper, and so on. So when you change the paper, you need to know what to put at the end of each signature, because if not, you find that the text runs from one page to the other, and it's not like this. And then, for example, this big mistake, we did it once with one that was building, the graphic designer that was building this. This was had to be in color, like 4 color, but at the end we discovered that there was the changing of the signature and the changing of the paper, and then we decided to bring because if not it would be here all all colored and here all black and white, and it was terrible. So we decided, of course, to turn all the work in all black and white. But this is a big mistake. Of course, you are curator, so you know how to build a flat plan. The flat plan does not limit, a stronger flat plan does not limit the book. It gives direction to its thoughts and coherence to its voice. So you need to like build a structure, like think to the authors, to the contributors, define the field. So if you want to like ask to the contribution of one of curator, for example, to one topic, because you want to ask to sociologists, or you want to ask to a scientist to contribute to the catalog, you need to know where and to position inside the catalog from the beginning, and then like this you will perfectly follow the flat plan that formulate also the clear editorial question. For example, what if you put the text at the end, the text of the scientist at the end of the catalog, is good or not? You need to follow and to be careful to all these small but really important questions and issues, because if you put, for example, the scientist at the beginning of the catalog, it will have a certain weight in the catalog itself. If you put it at the end, it has another weight. So you need to follow and to maintain also a good and uniformous way of building the catalog. So you need to give to the author or to the contributors the length of the text, of course, and you need to know from the beginning, when you commission a text, if he wants to use images inside the text, because then you need to clear the copyright if he wants to use this type of these images or the other images that are not referred to the exhibited artworks, but are referred to other important reference for the contributor. So here I imagine that you know already how you build a flat plan. So the title, the colophon, the acknowledgement, and so on. But how? Because the central body, I mean, we are always conceiving the catalog as starting part, so opening part of the catalog, central body of the catalog with all the images, and then the closing section. Think to reverse it, for example, like in this catalog. The catalog can be completely different. This is the catalog of European project, of the exhibition of the 4-year of a European project, and that has been conceived more like a co-created catalog. At the beginning of this catalog, we decided to make a pool of curators that was following the catalog. And so the most important part of it was the co-curation of the catalog itself. And also to invite artists to contribute to the catalog with for the glossary, for example, and to make a visual part that is like here, that are able that allows people to see the statistics. So in this case, it was not the flat plan of this catalog. It was not evident. I mean, we didn't have the central body, because all the central body was the catalog. Of course, we had a closing section that was related to all the artists that participated to the not to the exhibition itself, but to the 4 years of magic carpets. So this is an example. Then I will leave you here. And tell me if you know already all these things, like, for example, the editorial planning. You know already how to do it? Okay, so we arrived to the flat plan. So we created already the flat plan. And then we need to acquire the essays. Once we acquire the essays, we arrive to the acquisitions of images and supporting images. The supporting images are the ones that are related to the text of the contributors. Then we have the first editorial review. For example, once it happened to me, I asked to one contributor to write a text of 20,000 characters. It arrived a text of 40,000 characters. What to do? Because the contributor already, wrote it. So at this point was like a diplomatic issue. So to cut the essays, what to do? So I asked him, of course, to cut, because we couldn't, we are forced in a certain number of pages. But then what to do? So I asked to another online publishing house to publish the entire essays. Like this, he wasn't upset that he wrote it for nothing. And so I asked to like a magazine, online magazine. And this is a way of solve it, but there is this is a diplomatic way of solving. There is more undiplomatic ways that he says, no, I don't care, you need to cut it. And this is a way of saving time, which is good sometimes. And then you need to do the substantive revision. So if the text that written is referring effective to the issues and topic was commissioned. Sometimes no, and sometimes you need to tell the author that the topic wasn't really observed, was followed, and then it was there is a very big issue. But sometimes we can solve it with some arrangements in the editorial part. Then there is the layout. The layout is done with the graphic designers. And then we arrive to the book dummy, that is the PDF, the first PDF. And then from the first PDF, you start the first revision, the second revision, the third revision, and so on and so forth. To the that the second or third revision, you need their part of the PDF, not of the full catalog, because if not, they will complain, oh, why you put me at the end or at the beginning and so on. Don't do this mistake, because if not, it's another issue. This is important then of the revision, and then the paratextual elements. How to, for example, usually you have at the end of the catalog the list of artworks, which is usually done for all the catalogs. But for example, it's very interesting to put at the end of the catalog, if you're working, for example, with beer topic, statistics. And so all the statistics, as we inserted here at the middle of the catalog, because this was important to us. But then you can have at a certain for your project, you can put it at the end of the catalog, which is important because the statistic in a graphic way attracts even the reader. I mean, look, we worked with Maltese graphic designer, and they were quite good. So these are like ants. Ants is related to community, and this is a community-based project, and this is quite interesting how it developed. Then we arrived to the paratextual elements, then the colophon, which is the colophon, you know what it is already, where you put all the information about the catalog, and about the exhibition and so on. Then we arrive to the choice of the cover, which is very important, because the choice of the cover is the first, I would say, marketing factor for the catalog and for the exhibition. And usually we tend to use the cover, the same image or the same graphic design that we used for the exhibition. It's not always like this, that we need to follow the graphic design of the exhibition for the catalog, because think, this is an object that you need to hold it in the hands, and the graphic design that you have in the exhibition, so it's completely different. So you need to, for the catalog, you need to think that you hold this is an object, is an artworks, I would say. So it's quite important. Then, of course, you need to get the second proof, the third proof, and then we arrive to the color proof. So the color proof is really important to get the right color of the artwork, because sometimes, mainly for photograph, the paper, the use of paper, even the choice of the paper, change the color of the image. So the final print approval, directors will usually approve the catalog or the curator itself. So we arrive to the materials, format, and bindings. So I love, as you can feel it, I love catalog and I love paper. So for me, paper is not a matter of is paper, white paper. No, paper can be uncoated, porous. So I love porous paper, because you can even feel the texture. You can even smell it, because it's and the coated paper is something completely different. I mean, like this, the coated paper is, of course, gives you an idea of like publicity, marketing. So it's for this it was about marketing in the 70s, so publicity in the 70s, so it was perfect. But in this case, for example, for this exhibition of superorganism, this coated paper is perfect. And this is the dyed through paper, that is this one. So the dyed through is the colored paper, and but is completely different to this kind of paper that is also colored, but it's not dyed through. So is very important, because when you choose this kind of paper that is dyed through, you can see the changing of the colors from the spine of the book. And here, if it's you cannot see the change of the color because it's all cut out. So then the format. Usually, we don't have money for catalogs most of the time. So the most expensive format is the large, so this one, and the atypical, so the along the format. But if you want to save money, the most useful format to use is this one, because if you see, this is the signature, and if you put it on is just you save money because you save paper. You don't need to have extra cut for the paper, and you waste paper. So is the most ecological format, because you use this, you don't know, there is no waste of paper. And is a nice and handy type of catalog. But also this, because it's the just the half of this. So you just cut, is the half of the A5. So so we start from the A0, which is the big paper where you find it in the printing house, and we arrive to the A5 with folding this and having one signature and adding their other signature. So for each format, we have, no, actually, the other way around. For each exhibition, we have the right format. So for the urban exhibition, urban projects, participatory project, we have the small format, which is very handy. You can put it in the pocket and is very useful and is very budget, I would say. The notebook format, which is more institutional, and you save money and you save paper, so you are ecological too, which is used for contemporary research. I mean, this kind of format, you use it for contemporary research catalogs. The last, the big format are used usually for institutional exhibition, which is a celebratory exhibition. So, for example, a survey exhibition is, you use this. But for example, this, we use it, this format, which is the large one, we use it for this exhibition that was the prequel, I would say, of this one. Both of this exhibition were the capital of culture. Here it was in Kaunas in Lithuania, and here was in Tartu 2024. Why we use this format? It's a magazine format. This is a traveling project. Residencies, traveling artists, and communities, and so on. So we decided to use this kind of format because it was very related to the magazine. So then the long format is very useful for photograph because has horizontal usually horizontal tension to see the images, and so is important that. But the binding too is important to choose. For example, the metal staple. The metal staple, we use it for the brochure, which is usual because it's the most economical and budget way of use, but it can be short publication or it can be used for institutional reports. I mean, at the end of 5 years, the reports of or at the end of 1 year, the institution will use this to give it to the public. And then the perfect binding. The perfect binding is the one that is cut and is not sewn. And I will show it. This was, okay, this is a perfect binding. You can see it. You can take it if you want and see it by hand. The perfect binding has not a very, is a very economical paperback system, but actually is not useful for this big this large number of paper, because then if you do like this, the paper will turn out from the publication, from the cover. So it's good, but not for this number of pages. Why we use this? Because we were running out of time and we wanted to have the catalog for the opening. And so this is very economical, but very fast way of binding, because it's glued. Is glued, but also the sewn binding is glued at the end. But this is just glued. So then is very fast. And but then we got the second edition of this catalog that is sewn binding. So the section, the sewn binding is this one that you can see. And then we arrive to another type of banding that probably you are not aware of it, or maybe yes, that is the omega stitch. The omega stitch, you can see the omega here. Why do you think that we could use this? For which kind of exhibition, or the omega stitch? No, why do we need? Because for brochure we have already this kind of brochure, the simple metal staple. For you can hang it from the omega. Yes, you can hang it, and you can have the ring cover. Yes, yes, and you can put it in the file. But for which kind of exhibition we have, or for which kind of events we could use this? we could use this for performance. We could use this for video review. So if we have, for example, in our institution, like, for example, 3 times per year, like a video review related to one topic, then we could decide to use this kind of metal omega stage, because it's a way of marketing, because then you sell the ring cover that people can, and they could bring it, buy it, and they could like keep it, and then you will sell the ring cover with then where to store and where to keep all this brochure. So it's very interesting. For example, this was used in Pinacoteca Agnelli in the north of Italy, in Turin, and each time, each year they had a public work inside, and they change the work that are installed in the Pinacoteca Agnelli, and so they decided to use this type of format, which is very useful. And then we have the spiral binding, which is required when catalog remains open, had to remains open. In this case, we used it. I don't know, but probably, you know, this is an exhibition that we had last year, 2025, with this artist that probably you know, Bosnian artist Sheila Kameric. So we did this exhibition with her and other Bosnian artists, and also Italian, and we didn't have money. That was the real reason why we did this catalog. So we didn't have money. We need to save it, and I decided, and this was my decision, to do this kind of spiral binding, because it like leads you immediately to the idea of that is probably like a calendar, and so I asked to each artist to write like a sort of quote, like a haiku, that is it was dedicated to the space of resistance. And it was very effective, and everybody was like, okay, wow, I want this. It was quite budget to buy it, even like a little bit more than 10 euros. So this is, but okay, then we're running out of time. Yes. Okay. I have to end my on catalog, but the color is important, because it's not merely accompanying the project, but it constructs really a relational form. So because the first thing that we remember from the catalog is the color, is not the image. It's very difficult, if you think it over, to remember the image rather than the catalog. The image needs to be very strong. For example, I have this catalog with Elena Bellantoni that you probably remember, is the one in the Dots Gallery is the artist with the stripes, the Serbian flag. So, but then here we use the image because it's very strong and you remember. But if not, if you have a like a group exhibition, is more likely that you use color. So the cover, then I going through very fast the graphic design. I want to tell you something, because we are running out of time, which is very interesting. Why I brought you the pencil, because in 1889 there was the first marketing plan of in the world. We have the Universal Exhibition in Paris, and usually that time the pencil weren't sell with just with the cover of wood, but were sell just with the mine, so with the graphite. And so this was came from a Czech producer of graphite. So we need many people was asking many, like the how do you say, the demand of the graphite was very large, and so he need to cover the market. And so the thing is that to go with the market, but to hide the quality, the poor quality of the graphite, he used the cover in yellow. But why yellow? Because it's related to China Empire, and he related the name of the pencil, Koh-i-Noor, as you remember, the Koh-i-Noor is the British diamond. It's the most important diamond. So relating to the Koh-i-Noor and to the yellow that is related like gold to the China Empire. And so this was the first marketing way. And if we think to the pencil, if we think it yellow, we don't think other color, we think it yellow. Not the colored pencil, I mean the color. So this is how, only to explain you how the color for the catalog is important, because it stays in the shelves, in the table of the bookshops and so on. I go to the end of this presentation. I want images and copy their distribution. So the distribution is very important because usually museum do not use or tend not to use a publishing house, because it's is an extra cost, but it's important to use distributing publishing house, because this allows that your publication won't stay here only in Belgrade or, for example, in Rome, in the museum or so on, but will be distributed worldwide. For example, this catalog is also in the library in United States, or there are many. I mean, if you use a good distributing and you good publishing house, you may reach a wider public. And so from the offset printing, you use immediately the readers, because you go from the distributor, the Ingram and Baker and Taylor are the distributing company in the wholesaler in United States, and then the retailer, because goes directly to the retailer. So you see all these graphics. So I will anyhow, since we skip many slides, I will leave you the slides through the institute if you want. Okay, and you can go through. And just to end, I would love to show you this video, because we started with Ansuri Kobrist. And you remember I was telling that he did the first exhibition in the kitchen, and with Fischli and Weiss. And I think that this video is a video of 1987, is a sort of metaphor of what we are doing in daily. So a chain of reaction. I hope, yes. Maybe you know this video. You know already? Oh, I love it. Just to end this. Okay, so thank you. I think that this is really a perfect metaphor to tell what we are doing daily. I mean, it's always a chain of reaction. We are building chains. We are building nets. And so thank you for coming here, for being here with me and sharing your thoughts. And yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you want, you can see. Yes, yes.